The Galactic Council had ruled over thousands of worlds for many centuries. They were old races with powerful ships and advanced weapons. They looked at new planets like pieces on a game board. Earth was one such piece. To them, humans were just noisy animals who fought each other with simple guns and bombs. They had no great space fleet, no shields around their world, no weapons that could hurt a real warship. High Arbiter Kael'tor sat on his high throne in the Great Council Chamber. The room was huge, with glowing walls and seats for hundreds of different alien species. Kael'tor was Vorsian, tall and thin, with silver skin and large black eyes. He spoke in a calm voice that carried power. "Earth is ready for harvest," he said. "Our scouts have watched for many cycles. The humans have no unity. Their governments argue all the time. They pollute their own air and water. They are weak. We will take their minerals, their water, their forests. They will not stop us." The other delegates nodded. The Zorath, who looked like large insects with shiny shells, clicked their mandibles in agreement. The Lyrans, tall bird-like beings with feathers, cooed softly. The Groon, heavy and rock-skinned, grunted. No one spoke against the plan. Why would they? Earth had nothing to fight back with. General Vexara stood beside Kael'tor. She was Vorsian too, but her skin was darker, almost blue-black. Her uniform was covered in medals from past conquests. She had taken dozens of worlds without losing a single ship. "The Dominion fleet is prepared," she said. "We have 100 cruisers, 50 destroyers, and the flagship Eternal Dawn. We will arrive in their system in 3 cycles. We will send one message: surrender or die." Kael'tor smiled, showing sharp teeth. "Send the message now. Let them know fear before we even arrive." The broadcast went out across every radio wave, every satellite, every screen on Earth. It was in every human language at once. The voice was deep and cold. "People of Earth, this is the Galactic Council. Your world is claimed. You have 1 Earth year to prepare your surrender. Lay down your weapons. Do not resist. Resistance will bring death to your cities and your people. We come in peace if you obey. We come in fire if you do not." The message played on phones, TVs, computers, even car radios. In New York, people stopped in the streets and looked up at the big screens in Times Square. Faces turned pale. The stars above Earth looked the same as always, quiet, peaceful. Then, without warning, space itself seemed to tear open. Bright flashes appeared high above the planet, like sudden lightning in the dark. One by one, the ships of the Dominion fleet slid into normal space. They were huge, long and sharp, like silver knives floating in the black. The biggest one, the Eternal Dawn, was so large it blocked out parts of the moon when it passed in front. General Vexara stood on the bridge of her flagship. She wore her dark uniform with pride. Her officers stood around her, watching the screens. Blue and green lights showed Earth's blue oceans, green lands, and white clouds. The planet looked small and helpless. "Scan results," Vexara said in her cold voice. An officer answered quickly. "No orbital stations, no defense platforms, no ships larger than their old satellites. Their weapons are primitive. Missiles, guns, bombs, nothing that can touch our shields." Vexara allowed herself a small smile. As expected. "Send the final demand." The message went out again, stronger this time. It filled every screen, every speaker, every phone on Earth. "People of Earth, the Dominion fleet has arrived. Your time is over. Open your skies. Allow our landing ships to come down. Do not fight. If you resist, we will burn your cities from above. You have 1 hour." In cities around the world, people froze. In Tokyo, crowds in the streets looked up at giant screens showing the alien ships. In London, rain fell on people staring at their phones. In Cairo, families gathered in living rooms, holding each other. Fear was everywhere. But something else started too. Anger. defiance. In Washington, President John Harlan sat in the Situation Room, deep under the White House. The room was full of screens and worried faces. Generals, scientists, advisors, all of them silent for a moment after the message ended. He was a big man with short gray hair and hard eyes. "Mr. President, we cannot surrender. If we do, they take everything. Our homes, our freedom, our future." John looked at the live feed from space telescopes. The alien fleet filled the sky like a storm cloud. "What can we do?" he asked. Brian pointed to a map on the table. "We fight, not with fancy ships, with what we have. Every missile, every plane, every person who can hold a gun." Across the ocean, in a small office in London, Ambassador Lisa Monroe watched the same images. She had spent years talking to other countries, trying to keep peace on Earth. Now peace was gone. She picked up a secure phone. "Prime Minister," she said, "we need everyone, all nations, all people. This is not America's fight or China's fight. It is humanity's fight." The answer came fast. "We are ready." The hour passed. No white flags went up. No cities opened their skies. Instead, something strange happened. Humans started to move. In Houston, Texas, engineer Karen Brooks worked in a big warehouse. She and her team had spent the last months building rockets for companies that sent satellites up. Now, those rockets sat quiet. Karen looked at her workers. "They think we have nothing," she said, "but we have brains and we have parts." She pointed to a row of old rocket bodies. "Load them with whatever we can find. Fuel, metal scraps, explosives from construction sites. Turn them into spears." Her team did not argue. They started working, welding, wiring, moving fast. High above, Vexara watched her screens. Launch the first landing wave. Target the largest city on their eastern continent. Show them we mean business. Dozens of smaller ships broke away from the fleet. They looked like black arrows falling toward Earth. Their target was New York. But humans were ready in small ways. Airports near the city had fighter jets on standby. Old F-16s and F-35s took off. Pilots knew they could not win against shields, but they could annoy, they could distract. One pilot, Captain Steve Ramirez, flew his jet high. He spoke over the radio. "This is Eagle 1, going in hot. If I don't come back, tell my wife I love her." He pushed his throttle forward. His jet screamed toward the lead landing ship. Missiles locked. He fired everything he had. The explosions flashed bright against the alien hull. The shields held, but the ship slowed for a second. That second was enough. From the ground, people had turned normal things into weapons. In New Jersey, truck drivers parked big rigs full of fertilizer and fuel under overpasses. When the landing ships came low, timers went off. Huge fireballs rose up. Not enough to destroy a ship, but enough to heat the air, enough to make shields work harder. Vexara frowned on her bridge. Minor damage, shields at 98%. Continue descent. Then the real surprise came. Commercial satellites had been quietly moved for weeks. Some were old weather satellites, some were TV broadcast ones. Engineers on Earth had turned their solar panels into mirrors. Simple, but clever. When the alien ships got close, the mirrors focused sunlight into tight beams. Not lasers like in movies, just very bright light in one spot. One beam hit a landing ship right on its engine intake. The heat was not deadly, but it was enough to make systems glitch. The ship wobbled, then another beam hit, and another. The ship lost control. It spun. It crashed into the ocean off Long Island. A giant wave rose up. The ship sank fast. Vexara stared at the screen. "How?" An officer answered. "They used sunlight. Primitive, but effective." For the first time, Vexara felt a small cold feeling in her chest. Not fear, not yet, but doubt. On the ground, people cheered when they saw the crash on live feeds. In a small house in Ohio, Laura Thompson watched with her 2 kids. She was a single mom who worked at a hardware store. She had spent the last week teaching neighbors how to make simple bombs from household things. She looked out her window. The sky was full of streaks, planes, missiles, falling ships. "They're not gods," she told her kids. "They're just bullies, and bullies bleed when you hit them hard enough." In space, more surprises waited. A group of cargo ships that used to carry oil and food had been changed. Engineers added extra engines, filled holes with concrete and steel, turned them into battering rams. Captain Maria Lopez flew one of them. She was 52, with gray in her hair and steady hands. She aimed her ship at a Dominion cruiser. No fancy weapons, just speed. "Brace," she said to her small crew. They hit the side of the alien ship at full speed. The impact was huge. Metal screamed. The Dominion cruiser shook. A hole opened in its side. Air rushed out. Lights flickered. Vexara slammed her hand on the arm of her chair. "Recall the landing wave. Pull back to high orbit." The small ships turned and climbed away. They left smoke and fire behind them. On Earth, people did not stop. In Russia, soldiers moved tanks into position. In India, millions of people started digging shelters. In Brazil, tribes in the jungle prepared traps. John Harlan stood up in the Situation Room. He looked at the people around him. "We hurt them," he said. "Not much, but we hurt them, and they know it now. This is just the start." Lisa Monroe, still in London, sent a message to every leader she could reach. "Keep fighting. Together, they came to take our world. We will make them pay so much that they wish they never came." High above, Vexara looked at the blue planet again. It no longer looked weak. It looked angry, alive, dangerous. She spoke quietly to herself. "What have we woken up?" The battle had only begun, and humanity was not going to make it easy. The Dominion fleet pulled back to high orbit. Their landing ships returned like beaten dogs. General Vexara stood on her bridge, arms crossed tight. The screens showed smoke rising from Earth, small fires, crashed ships, human cheers on open channels. She felt the first real anger. "Damage report," she ordered. Her chief officer read the list. 3 landing craft lost, 1 cruiser damaged beyond quick repair. Shields on 5 ships dropped to 80% from heat overload. Casualties, 247, mostly lower-deck crews. Vexara's eyes narrowed. 200? For 1 failed landing? The officer nodded. "They fight dirty. They use everything. Sunlight, old rockets, even their garbage ships." In the council chamber far away, the delegates watched live feeds. High Arbiter Kael'tor sat forward. His silver skin looked dull under the lights. "This was supposed to be easy," he said. "A quick claim, resources for the taking." A Zorath delegate clicked angrily. "They are insects. Insects bite when stepped on." A Lyran cooed in worry. "But insects swarm, and these ones swarm with fire." Kael'tor waved a hand. "Send more ships. Bombard their factories. Break their spirit." Back on Earth, people did not wait to be broken. In a hidden base under the Rocky Mountains, General Brian Keller met with leaders from many countries. Screens showed maps of the world. Red dots marked alien positions. Blue dots showed human strongpoints. "We cannot match their ships in open space," Brian said, "but we can make space hell for them." A Chinese general spoke next. "We have old missiles, ICBMs. Some still work. Put new warheads on them, nuclear ones." A Russian admiral added, "We do the same. Launch from silos, from submarines. Hit them when they think they are safe." John Harlan listened. He looked tired, but steady. "Do it, but only when we can hurt them most. No wild shots." Around the world, ordinary people turned into fighters. In the Amazon rainforest, Major Carlos Rivera led a small team. They were soldiers, but also locals who knew the jungle like their own homes. The aliens had landed scouts there, tall, armored figures with energy rifles. Carlos watched from a tree. "They move slow, too much gear. They think the jungle is empty." His men had traps ready. Simple ones. Pits with sharp wood, vines tied to heavy logs, poison darts from old tribal ways. When the first alien patrol walked into the green, the trap sprang. Screams came through the trees. Energy rifles fired wild, but the jungle swallowed them. One alien soldier crawled out, wounded. Carlos stepped forward. He spoke in broken alien tongue from captured translators. Go home, or die here. The alien looked up, fear in its eyes. It died anyway. In the cold plains of Siberia, soldiers dug deep snow trenches. They waited for dropships. When one came low, they fired anti-air guns, old ones from World War days. The shells exploded close, not enough to kill the ship, but enough to make it leak air. The ship climbed away, trailing smoke. In Australia, out in the desert, farmers used their big machines. They drove tractors with steel plates welded on, loaded with fuel drums. When alien ground troops tried to set up a base, the farmers charged. Like old cavalry, explosions lit the red dirt. Aliens ran. High in orbit, Captain Steve Ramirez flew one of the few human ships left in space. It was an old cargo hauler called Dawn Runner. His crew had added extra engines and thick armor from scrap metal. They carried long rods, tungsten, heavy, pointed. Steve aimed at a Dominion destroyer. Slingshot around the moon, he told his pilot. Get speed, then release. The ship swung wide. Gravity pulled it fast, faster than any alien expected. At the right moment, they let go. The rods flew straight. No engines, just speed from gravity and engines. One rod hit the destroyer in the middle. It punched through shields like paper. The ship broke in half. Fire bloomed silent in vacuum. Steve's crew cheered. One down, but more ships came. Always more. On Earth, hackers worked day and night, in dark rooms in Seoul, Berlin, Bangalore. They broke into alien signals, listened, learned. One team in California found something big. The aliens used a central comm ship. It sent orders to the whole fleet. If they could hit that ship, confusion would follow. Karen Brooks heard about it. She was still in Houston, building more rockets. Now bigger ones. We can reach it, she said. Use our heavy launchers. Put bombs inside. Make them think it's just another satellite. Her team worked without sleep. They attached warheads. Small nukes, timed to explode close, not on the ship, near it. The blast wave would fry electronics. They launched at night. The rocket climbed, higher, higher. It reached the comm ship. The explosion was bright. The alien ship shook. Lights went dark for seconds, then came back weak. Vexara felt the hit on her bridge. Alarms screamed. Comms down, fleet scattered. For the first time, her voice shook a little. Regroup, fall back to defensive formation. But the damage was done. Alien ships started to act alone. Some fired too soon, some held fire too long. Humans saw it. They pushed harder. In Paris, people climbed rooftops with hunting rifles. When small drones came to scout, they shot them down. Simple bullets, but enough. In Cape Town, divers went under the sea. They attached mines to alien subs that tried to land troops. Explosions underwater shook the coast. Lisa Monroe flew from city to city. She talked to leaders. We are winning small fights. Keep it up. They bleed, we bleed too, but we do not stop. John Harlan made a broadcast. Every station carried it. To the invaders, you came for our world. You found warriors. Go home, or we will keep fighting until the last one of us stands. The council watched that broadcast. Kael'tor rubbed his temples. They do not beg, he said. They threaten. A Groon delegate growled. We should glass the planet. End it. Kael'tor shook his head. No. The cost grows. Our people ask why we lose ships to primitives. In space, another human surprise came. A cruise ship, big, white, full of retired people who refused to hide. They had turned it into a ram. Loaded engines, filled with fuel. They aimed at the eternal dawn. The captain was an old woman named Helen Grant. She spoke over open channel. You want our home? Come take it. The ship accelerated. Aliens laughed at first, then saw the speed. The cruise ship hit the side of the flagship, not hard enough to destroy it, but hard enough to crack armor. Air vented. Crew died. Vexara ordered repairs, but doubt grew in her mind. These humans, they did not fight like soldiers. They fought like they had nothing left to lose, and everything to keep. On the ground, Laura Thompson led her neighbors in night raids. They hit alien camps with firebombs, Molotovs from bottles. Simple, effective. Aliens started to fear the dark. The war was not over, but something had changed. The invaders who came for easy victory now felt pain, real pain, and regret started to whisper in their minds. Earth fought on, not with grace, not with mercy, with raw, stubborn will. The alien fleet hung high above Earth, like a dark storm that refused to leave. General Vexara paced the bridge of the eternal dawn. Her officers stayed quiet. They knew her temper was short now. Every day brought new losses. More ships damaged, more crews dead. The humans did not stop. They kept hitting. Small hits, clever hits, painful hits. Vexara stopped in front of the main screen. Earth spun below, blue and green and angry. Enough, she said. We end this. Full planetary bombardment. Target their power plants, their weapon factories, their big cities. Burn them until they beg. An officer hesitated. General, that will use most of our heavy weapons. If they fight back harder. They are primitives, Vexara snapped. They have no shields, no real fleet. Fire. The order went out. The fleet moved into attack formation. Big guns on every ship powered up. Bright energy beams started to form at the tips. The first targets were chosen. New York, Beijing, Moscow, Delhi, Los Angeles, places where humans gathered, places where they built things. On Earth, people knew what was coming. Satellites caught the fleet moving. Scientists saw the energy buildup. Warnings went out fast. Phones buzzed. Sirens screamed. TVs showed red alerts. In underground bunkers built long ago during old wars, millions ran to safety. Families carried water and food. Children cried. Parents held them tight. We will be okay, they said. We always find a way. But not everyone hid. Some stayed above to fight. President John Harlan was in a deep bunker in Colorado. Screens covered the walls. He watched the alien ships charge their weapons. Ambassador Lisa Monroe stood beside him. She had flown in from Europe just hours before. They are going to hit hard, Lisa said. Then we hit back harder. General Brian Keller pointed to a map. We have surprises ready. Hidden mirrors in orbit. Old climate projects. Big reflectors made to bounce sunlight for weather control. We turned them into weapons. Karen Brooks was in a control room nearby. She led the team that controlled the mirrors. We can focus light back at their ships, she said. Not kill them, but blind sensors, overheat hulls, make their beams weak. Above, the first beams fired. Bright lines of energy raced toward Earth. They aimed at a power plant in northern China. But the mirrors moved. Silent, hidden. They caught the beams and sent them right back. Not all, just enough. One beam hit a Dominion cruiser. Its shields flared bright, then cracked. The ship spun out of control. Another beam struck a destroyer. Metal glowed red. It exploded in a silent fireball. Vexara shouted, "What is happening?" "Reflected energy," an officer yelled. "They turned our attack against us." More beams came down. More mirrors sent them up. The fleet pulled back a little. Ships moved to avoid the light. But the damage was done. 3 ships lost, many more hurt. Vexara ordered a change. Target the mirrors first. Destroy those reflectors. But humans had more. In Antarctica, a secret base had been built years ago. No one talked about it much. Inside, a ship waited. Not a warship. A science ship, changed into something else. They called it Endurance. It was long and strong. Its hull was thick. Inside, it carried weapons taken from crashed alien ships. Humans studied them fast, learned, copied. Captain Brian Keller, no relation to the general, sat in the pilot seat. He was calm. His crew was small but brave. "We launch in 10 minutes," he said. The base doors opened under the ice. It climbed through clouds. It headed straight for the eternal dawn. On the bridge, Vexara saw the new contact. One small ship, laughable. But the Endurance was fast. It used engines humans had improved with alien parts. It dodged incoming fire. It got close. Too close. Brian Keller spoke over open channel. Everyone heard it. Aliens, humans, everyone. "You came to take our home. We give you this instead." The Endurance fired. Not missiles, not beams, something new. A pulse of energy from captured alien tech. It hit the flagship's main gun array. The big weapon exploded. Shrapnel flew. The eternal dawn shook hard. Vexara fell to one knee. Alarms screamed. Damage to primary systems, engines failing. The crew tried to fight back, but the Endurance was not done. It rammed the side. Not full speed, just enough to break through armor. A hole opened. Air rushed out. Lights flickered. In the council chamber, High Arbiter Kael'tor watched in horror. "They boarded our flagship with one ship?" "No, not boarded. The Endurance pulled away after the hit. But the damage spread. Fires started inside the Eternal Dawn. Systems failed one by one. Vexara stood up. Her voice was low. "All ships, protect the flagship, pull back." But some captains did not listen. They had seen too much, lost too many friends. Quiet talks happened on private channels. "This is madness," one said. "We lose more every hour." Another answered, "The council lied. They said easy victory. This is slaughter." Mutiny started small. A few ships turned away from Earth. They headed for the jump point, away from the fight. Vexara saw it on her screens. "Traitors," she yelled, but her voice cracked. She knew the truth. The fleet was breaking. On Earth, people watched the sky. They saw alien ships leave formation. Some exploded. Some just flew away. Shears rose in streets, in bunkers, on rooftops. Lisa Monroe sent a message. She hacked into alien channels again. This time, she showed pictures. Alien prisoners, fed and cared for. Human children, playing in safe zones. Then pictures of burned cities. Dead humans, dead aliens. She spoke calm and clear. "You wanted our world. Look what it cost. Go home, live, or stay and die." The words reached every alien ship. Some crews listened. More ships turned. The fleet shrank. Vexara stood alone on her damaged bridge. Most officers had left their posts. She looked at Earth one last time. "We were wrong," she whispered. In the council chamber, arguments grew loud. Delegates shouted. Kael'tor tried to speak. No one listened. "We must stop this," Aliran said. "The cost is too high." Azorath clicked. "Our people will not forgive this failure." Kael'tor closed his eyes. "Send the retreat order. All ships, return home." The message went out. The remaining Dominion ships turned. They left Earth's orbit. Slow at first, then faster. They jumped away one by one. Space became quiet again. On Earth, people stepped out into the open. They looked up at the empty sky. Smoke still rose in places. Wounds were deep, but they stood. John Harlan spoke to the world from his bunker. "We did not ask for this war, but we ended it, together." Lisa smiled a small smile. "And they will remember." In the cold silence of space, the last alien ship vanished. The invaders were gone. Regret came too late for them. But for humanity, a new day began. The sky over Earth was clear for the first time in weeks. No silver ships hung there like threats. No bright beams cut through the clouds. Only stars, quiet and far away. The Dominion fleet was gone. They had jumped back to their own space, leaving behind broken pieces that would circle the planet like sad reminders. In the council chamber, far across the stars, silence felt heavy. High Arbiter Kael'tor sat on his throne. His silver skin looked pale. The delegates around him did not speak at first. They stared at the empty screens that once showed their mighty fleet. Now, those screens showed only black space and floating wreckage. A Zorath delegate broke the quiet. His mandibles clicked slowly. We lost 47 ships, thousands dead, our best weapons useless against their tricks. A Lyran folded her wings tight. They turned our own power against us. They used sunlight like a blade. They rammed with passenger ships. Who does that? Kael'tor rubbed his long fingers together. We thought they were weak because they argued among themselves. We thought wrong. They argue, yes, but when danger comes, they become one. Like a storm that starts small and grows. General Vexara appeared on a small screen. Her image was damaged, lines of static running through it. Her uniform was torn. One eye was swollen shut. She spoke in a low, tired voice. The retreat was necessary, she said. The fleet could not fight anymore. Morale broke. Ships left without orders. If we stayed, none would have returned. Kael'tor looked at her. You failed us. Vexara met his gaze. No, we woke something we did not understand. They are not like other species. They adapt in days. They learn from our crashes. They use our own tech against us faster than we can repair it. They fight not for glory. They fight because it is their home. We came as hunters. They made us the prey. The chamber filled with whispers. Others looked afraid. A Groon stood up, his rock-like skin cracking as he moved. We must glass their world, he growled. Send a new fleet. End them. Kael'tor shook his head. No, the cost is too high. Our people already question this war. They see the dead return in boxes. They hear stories of humans who laugh in battle, who sing while they fight. We cannot afford another loss. He paused. We must talk to them. Offer peace. Offer terms. The delegates stared. Peace? With primitives? But no one argued. The truth sat heavy in the room. They had lost. Months passed on Earth. The planet healed slowly. Cities that burned now had new buildings rising. People worked together more than before. Old enemies shared tools and food. Children played in streets again. But the scars remained. Some places stayed quiet, marked by craters. Some families stayed broken. President John Harlan walked through a park in Washington. Trees were young again. Birds sang. He stopped by a bench where Ambassador Lisa Monroe waited. She looked older, but her eyes were bright. They are coming, she said. A small ship, no weapons, just diplomats. John nodded. Good. Let them see what they tried to take. The alien ship arrived in orbit. Small, white, no guns showing. It sent a message. We seek talks. We bring no threat. Humans allowed it to land, in a flat field outside Geneva. Neutral ground. Soldiers stood around, but with rifles down. No show of force, just quiet strength. The ramp opened. Kael'tor stepped out first. Behind him came Vexara, limping a little. Other delegates followed. They looked smaller without their fleet. John and Lisa walked forward. No flags, no music, just two humans meeting old enemies. His translator made his voice soft. We came in pride. We leave in regret. We offer reparations, technology, resources, whatever you need to rebuild. Lisa looked at him calm. You came to take our world. You killed our people. You burned our homes. Words are cheap. Kael'tor bowed his head low. We know. We ask only for peace and a promise. Never again will we come as conquerors. John stepped closer. We accept. But hear this. Earth is not for taking. Not by you, not by anyone. If another fleet comes, we will be ready, and we will not stop at driving you away. Vexara looked up. Her good eye met John's. I saw your people fight. I saw mothers with guns, children carrying messages through fire, farmers ramming tanks. I will never forget. She paused. Tell your people we are sorry. John did not smile. Sorry does not bring back the dead, but it is a start. The talks lasted days. Agreements were signed. Alien ships brought metal, medicine, clean energy tech. Humans studied it, learned fast. In months, new factories rose, new ships built in secret yards, not for war, but for protection. One evening, Lisa stood on a balcony in New York. The city lights shone bright again. She thought of the message she sent during the war, the one that showed alien prisoners treated well. She had done that on purpose, to show humans were not monsters, but they could be if pushed. John joined her. Do you think they learned? Lisa nodded. They learned fear and respect. That is enough for now. In space, a new human ship launched, not from a hidden base, in the open, big, strong, named Endurance 2. Captain Steve Ramirez stood on the bridge. He looked out at the stars. Set course for the edge of the system, he said. Let the galaxy know we are here. The ship moved smooth. Behind it, Earth turned peaceful, but watchful. Far away, in alien taverns and council halls, stories spread. About the blue world that fought like nothing else. About humans who turned defeat into victory. About a fleet that came proud and left broken. They called it the regret of the council, a warning passed from species to species. Do not touch Earth. They do not conquer. They endure. And when they endure, empires fall. On a small farm in Texas, Laura Thompson sat on her porch. Her kids played in the yard. She looked up at the night sky. No ships, just stars. She smiled a little. They came for our home, she said to no one. They got regret instead. Earth kept turning. People kept living, building, dreaming, and somewhere deep inside every human, a quiet promise stayed alive. If they come again, we will be ready. And next time, the regret will be even greater.